and then we're going to start fading it out. Now I want to use a scooping motion, and I want to stay below. A general rule is so when he combs his hair back, you see right where the front of his hair falls here. I don't want the fade higher than that. So I need to leave myself this much room to blend, so the blend stops where the front goes to the side. If he told me he was going to push this up and wear it up high, then I could fade it higher. But if I don't, it's going to look ridiculous if the fade's up here and he wears his hair down here and it's angled completely down. It's going to look completely out of balance. So we want to keep these haircuts balanced. So I'm just using the tip of the blade and a scooping motion. So we're going to have very little blending to do, as you can see, because we removed a lot of that bulk. Now, if you look really closely at the hair on the tips of the teeth there, I never lose sight of the cutting blade. If I didn't do this step first and just went in blindly, I wouldn't see the tips of the teeth, and that's why you would be in danger of cutting the fade up too high. Now I know exactly where I am, and I can start to pull the blade away sooner. Because if I couldn't see this, I don't know how high I am. I'm lost under all that hair. Now, if you've never used metal attachments or you don't use metal attachments, you can see the benefit here, how easily that goes through the hair. Now on this side, because the hair is growing forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the clipper and I'm going to come at a different angle. I always like to cut against the grain so the hair feeds into the clipper easier. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my clipper off. I'm going to come back over to my blades, and as I said, everything is in order. I like to keep everything efficient during the day, so I'm going to clean my blade off. So I'm going to put that back in its place, and I'm going to pick the next shortest one up. I'm going to turn that on. I know the blade's clean because I always clean them off before I pick them up. And then even though Billy said he wanted a skin fade on his color hair is going to be different than a skin fade on somebody with really dark hair or tight curly hair and darker skin. His hair is going to show skin maybe at 1/4 of an inch with where I'm at now, or 1/8 of an inch, where somebody else you're going to have to go all the way down to a 3, 4, or 5, 0 to see skin. So you have to treat every haircut differently. So just when someone sits down and says they want a skin fade, there's a lot of questions you have to ask, and then you have to kind of diagnose the situation a little bit based on his hair type. Because when we initially talked, he just said he wanted a skin fade, but that doesn't tell me enough. Because I could skin fade him way up to here, and it's not going to look right. It's going to be totally out of balance. So the height of the fade is extremely important. That's why I pay so much attention to the growth pattern of the hair before I even start. So it's still a little long. I'm going to go down one blade shorter. We're going to go down to the 1/8 of an inch, and then after that, we're just going to blend it in and fade it out around the edges. That's as tight as I want to go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're done with the tube. I'm going to go back to get my 1.5 blade. Brush the clipper off. Going to grab the 1.5 blade. Slide that on. Now I'm going to be able to do two things. So as I'm fading it out, I'm going to finish the blend. So the only blending I'm going to have to do is this little bit right here. We're just going to have to touch it up just a little bit. So I start out with the heel of the blade on the comb, and then I switch to the teeth. And I'm using a very thin clipper comb. Alright, and now we're blended. So that takes out half your haircut time by starting on the top and working your way down instead of starting on the bottom and making a line. It's pretty much already blended when we start, and minimal blending is needed. And that's the part of the haircut that creates so much stress for everybody. So my feeling is if we can eliminate the blending step, or eliminate 90 to 95% of it, cutting hair is going to be a lot easier and a lot less stressful. And in the back, there's not as much to do, just a little bit. And with the right tool, it makes it even easier. And sometimes you can't even see what you're cutting. You just know it's there. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using my comb as a plastic attachment. I'm attaching the clipper to the comb. So your clipper over comb technique, it's probably your most versatile technique. Alright, so I'll make sure I get that blade on there nice and flat. And the other thing you want to do is you want to go nice and slow with your clippers. The slower you cut, the faster you're going to be done because you only have to do it one time. So people always ask me, how do I increase my speed? How do I do more haircuts? You can do more haircuts by slowing down. Because if you cut too fast, you're going to push the hair. And if you push the hair, you're not going to cut it, and you have to keep going over it. So that's why I just go nice and slow and make sure I get all the hair. The other thing with these short haircuts is there's no excuse to do a clipper cut and then have random long hair sticking out. So that's why you want to go, again, you want to go nice and slow and make sure you get them all. Especially if you're giving somebody like a buzz cut maybe, which is the easiest haircut to do. You don't want to leave longer hair sticking out.